under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're going to start tonight's meeting off with a couple public hearings. We're going to start with a public hearing regarding a waiver for distance limitations at 1222 Main. We'll open that hearing at 5:01 p.m. Kent, if you want to.
We had received a petition for a waiver of distance, or waiver of the distance limitation that limits the sale of alcoholic liquor or cereal malt beverages at 1222 Main Street. It basically goes to section 302 of the city code, which says no alcoholic liquor or cereal malt beverage shall be sold or served by a person holding a license or permit from the city, whose place of business or other premises are located within 200 feet of any church, school, or library. This property on Main Street is actually within 200 feet of the Episcopal Church, and it's also within 200 feet of the school building that's diagonal from it. But it does state that the distance location of the previous section shall not apply to a club, drinking establishment, caterer, or temporary permit holder when the license or permit applicant petitions for and receives a waiver of the distance limitation from the governing body. So that's what we had received, was a petition. The governing body shall grant such a waiver only following public notice and hearing, and then a finding by the governing body that the proximity of the establishment is not adverse to the public welfare or safety. So that's what we have here tonight. When you had set this through a previous resolution, is this today's date for the public hearing.
Okay, and I believe we have the owners of the rec room here. We have Neil Watson and Allison Griffith here. And I don't know if you guys want to come up to the podium and kind of let us know again what your intentions are.
Our intentions are to open up a fun establishment, tables, shuffleboard, arcade games, TVs, just a place to come hang out, socialize, have just beer on, we're not even doing beer on tap, it's just gonna be canned bottle. Gonna be doing pizza and miscellaneous fried type food, or, just something to keep it simple. Open a new establishment, serve steak or something like that. Hang out. Shuffleboard table's already there. That stuff is heavy.
I bet.
We'll be able to come in tomorrow. So, looking forward to getting this done.
Yes.
Do you have any questions or anything for them on it? All right. Yes.
Out of curiosity, because I know that the waiver is alcohol, liquor, and cereal malt beverage. Is that, I mean, we have no intention of selling liquor at this time, but maybe in the future, is that a possibility under this waiver or no?
I think it mentions both. I don't know if there needs to be any specification.
Well, just from a state standpoint, we might be a subject cereal malt beverage on that, given that, as far as getting a liquor license, that's the state.
Mhm.
Yeah. That makes sense.
That costs a lot more money and a lot more of a headache. So.
Does the waiver of distance limitation apply to both? Is basically.
Again, we can't dictate the state, right? But as far as the state requirements of what they need for a liquor license, it would have to comply with whatever they're doing.
Mhm.
So, I think that's my answer to that.
Mhm.
And as check mark on the is over that 200 feet of church.
Okay. Yep. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Is there anybody else who has something they wish to state regarding this hearing? Please.
My name's Michael Jordan. I run Goodland Games.
Mhm.
When we moved to this town a couple of years ago, we noticed the nightlife here, there's literally nothing to do after about 5, 6 o'clock. So our establishment, we timed it to where, you know, people go out there and have fun at night. Even though this could be considered competition to us, we would really like to see this open up. It's a new type of entertainment, it's a new establishment where people can go out and socialize. We want to see the community come together, socialize more, be out there, be involved with each other, meet each other. And we are hoping that this will actually push that just a little bit further.
All right, great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other comments? Okay, if nobody has anything else to say, then we will close this hearing at 5:06 p.m. Thank you. Now, we're going to give it about 30 seconds for the next minute to roll around so we can open up the next one. Okay. Next up, we have a petition for de-annexation for some lots out at the Goodland Energy Center, lots 15, 19, 20, 21, and 22. We will open the public hearing for this at 5:07 p.m. Kent?
Again, we had received a petition for these lots out at the Goodland Energy Center, lots 15, 19, 21, and 22. This was for another economic development project. It did not come to fruition as they had thought. There's actually no utility services to the lots. And it is outside, actually, our boundary regarding electric, is it not? It's being served by Midwest Energy. And the water and sewer, we didn't extend the lines out there to serve the property. According to, we need to hold this public hearing and then need to decide whether to take action or not. So, you had set, from the previous resolution a month ago, set this hearing on this date. And that's what we're here tonight for.
Okay, and I believe we have Zeke Behringer here tonight, who was the person who filed the petition. I don't know if you wanted to come up and kind of let us know why you filed it and what's on your mind about it.
Zeke Behringer, mainly just because of the lack of city resources out there and also the implications of it being city property really hindered the ability to do certain things out there, such as a shooting range or various sporting activities. So I just figured getting it de-annexed would be the simplest solution for everybody.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Zeke? All right, thank you. Okay, is there anybody else who wishes to speak on this matter? Okay, nobody has any other comments. We will close this hearing at 5:09 p.m. Thank you. Okay, moving on to public comment. Has anybody signed up this evening? Okay, and we'll move on to consent agenda. We have A, the 4/1/24 commission meeting minutes, and B, the appropriation ordinances 2024-08, 2024-08A, and 2024-P08. Any questions, comments, or concerns on those this week?
I move that we approve consent agenda items A and B.
Have a motion by Commissioner Howard,
Second.
second by Commissioner Myers. Any other further discussion? Roll please.
Redlin,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Showalter, Myers,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes. Okay, moving on to presentations and proclamations. We do have an Arbor Day proclamation. I don't know, you want me to read the proclamation and then we can talk about what we're gonna do? Or you wanna talk about what we're gonna do and then? I
Why
can-
don't you read the proclamation first?
Okay, let's read the proclamation. For Arbor Day, April 26, 2024, whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees, and whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal, and whereas Giddlen has been recognized as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation for now 45 years and desires to continue its tree planting practices. Now therefore, we, the City of Giddlen, do hereby proclaim April 26th, 2024 as Arbor Day in the City of Giddlen and encourage all citizens and businesses to join in the celebration thereof. And we urge all citizens to plant trees to promote the well-being of this and all future generations. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Giddlen, Kansas, to be affixed this 15th day of April, 2024. Okay. Now, what are we going to do to celebrate Arbor Day?
Well, on April 26th, which is obviously, it'll be at the end of next week, it'll be on Thursday. The city will have an Arbor Day event. It'll be at Stever Park at 1:30 p.m. There will be a couple different classes from the school, hopefully there. They've been contacted and we will, I should say we, when it's actually Danny and a couple of his compatriots in his department will plant the trees in Stever Park.
Nice.
Do you have an exact
nice.
location where that's going to be, Dan?
Be south of the big shade structure.
South of state structure. And what kind of trees are we going to be planting this year?
It'll be a linden tree.
Linden tree? Okay. Very nice.
That's all I have.
All right. Perfect. We look forward to seeing everybody out there that day. Okay, we'll move on to ordinances and resolutions.
26.
Starting with Resolution 1629, which is designating our depositories. Kent?
Well, I'll refer this to Mary. This is an annual resolution, but go ahead, Mary.
Annually, you're required to designate where we will deposit city funds. And this is our resolution that basically outlines where our funds are deposited and invested.
Okay, and they're kind of spread out between Bank West, First National Bank, and Western State is where
Correct.
everything's are. Do you have any questions or concerns regarding this resolution?
I'll move to approve Resolution 1629.
We have a motion by Commissioner Redlin,
Second.
second by Commissioner Myers. Any further discussion? Roll please.
Howard,
Yes.
Redlin,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Showalter, Thompson.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to Resolution 1630, which is a resolution for the waiver of distance limitation for the rec room.
This is just for the commissioner's consideration. If you find that there's no adverse findings to the public welfare or safety, then you can pass this resolution that grants the waiver of distance limitation. So it does identify 3 things that you do find that the proximity of the establishment, the rec room, is not adverse to the public welfare or safety, that you do hereby authorize the waiver of distance limitation requested by the petitioner, and that the waiver of distance limitation granted may be revoked by the governing body if the business use ever changes from a recreational outlet, as referenced in the petition.
Okay, anybody have any questions or comments on that one?
I will also move to approve Resolution 1630.
I have a motion by Commissioner Redlin,
Second.
second by Commissioner Howard. Any other further discussion? Roll, please.
Myers,
Yes.
Showalter, Howard,
Yes.
Redlin,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes. Okay, we will now move on to Ordinance 1771 regarding the de-annexation of the lots out at the Goodland Energy Center.
Mayor's members of the commission, if this is also for your consideration, if you choose to agree with the petition that says to de-annex or basically exclude the territory from the city boundary, this is an ordinance that would do that. It basically follows what is set forth in Kansas statutes regarding how this should occur. And it is only regarding the 5 lots that are in question, regarding the property out in the Goodland Energy Center.
Okay, anybody have any comments, concerns regarding this ordinance?
I'll make a motion that we approve Ordinance 1771.
I have a motion by Commissioner Redlin,
Second.
second by Commissioner Myers. Any other further discussion? I will say that I know what the original intent was for these lots out there, but I also feel like at this point that there is no real city interest in these lots, especially if we do not provide any real city services to these lots out there. And I'm glad that you were willing to come forth and put forth the petition to change it for what you feel is right, and so good for you for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, roll please.
Howard,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Redlin,
Yes.
Showalter, Thompson.
Yes.
That was the answer.
Yeah. Okay, we will now move on to formal actions regarding a request to advertise for bids for property at 122 West 14th Street. Zach, welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I have not had any further contact after March 24th, I believe was the date. In February, he called Black Hills to try and get the gas line removed, and they said 2 to 3 weeks. And then after the 4th week, he called again, and they said it's still gonna be another 2 to 3 weeks. So this is just keeping the process going, so if they don't get out here, we can move forward and actually get rid of it.
I mean, I feel like we do need to keep moving forward with this, even though it does sound like he's making an attempt of some sort and maybe not getting the help that he needs on this end as much as he should probably, but
I did contact Black Hills after speaking to him, and about an hour later, they put in 811 no fees, but I haven't seen anybody over there.
And even with this invitation to bid, doesn't mean we have to take the bids or proceed if it seems like the owner is starting to take action.
Have any other questions or concerns?
We just don't need it to drag out forever.
Agreed. Feels like it already kind of has, but.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I will make a motion that we put out a request for bids for the demolition of the property at 122 West 14th Street.
Second.
Okay, second by Commissioner Redland. Any other further discussion? Roll, please.
Redland,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Showalter, Thompson.
Yes. Okay, moving on to discussion items, starting with A, lots out at the industrial park and a purchase agreement for it. Good.
Yes. We,
Phew, made it. Made it.
Long shot.
this is a lot on the north side of the park. It's basically at the end of the current concrete. The lot is just over 2 acres. We have talked about this for the last 2 or 3 meetings. Kind of gone back and forth regarding another lot as a possibility. But there are some difficulties, obstacles with that lot. Come back to this lot, and Raul and Lisa Rodriguez have indicated their interest in signing an agreement with the city commission to purchase the lot at the price stated last time by the commission. And so before city staff will move forward, and like to get direction from the commission to have staff go ahead and moving forward with the purchase of, with this agreement to purchase the property.
So I guess question I was thinking about this week as far as the property. So it currently does have the concrete road out. It's finished to the end of that lot, right?
Yes,
But there's no other utilities currently on that lot.
correct.
But we are in the process of finishing the concrete work and bringing utilities around to all of the lots out there.
Correct. And actually, that's a project that'll be started in June, correct, Andrew?
Yep.
And we had received a good enough bid on our original project that we'll be able to finish the road around the other half of the industrial park and also extend water and sewer utilities.
So I guess my question is with this agreement that we're doing, is that with the intention of us still finishing utilities through that lot? Or does that then become their responsibility if this is agreed upon before that is started?
It's just like the other current owners in the industrial park, that with the grant effects to it, we weren't intending to charge any of the other lot owners either, so.
Okay. I believe that's fair. I just wanted to make sure that was clarified, since it is kind of overlapping with that other project that hasn't started yet.
Now, they'll have costs to connect to the utilities, but it'll be just, it's not the extension of the mains, it's the individual connections, whether it be electrical or water and sewer, so.
Yeah, I guess my thoughts are I still kind of sit where I said last meeting where, you know, I've tried to look a little bit into what property values are out there for just the lot values. As far as the other lots that are owned by entities other than Goodland, the values appear to be a little bit higher than what we're asking for the lot, but not tremendously higher. I also feel like our intention with that area is to encourage growth in businesses.
Yes.
So I think I'm still okay with the number that we had used last meeting, moving forward. And, you know, reading through the contract, I mean, I don't see anything in there that I have any issues with personally.
I'm in agreeance with that. I think it'd be a win for the city and the county having the lot improved, because they're probably gonna put a building up out there and everything, a good sized building. So, and might as well have the lots utilized instead of just sitting there.
Right.
And again, I do want to say that, you know, their intention, as far as we know, is to, you know, house their trucks and trailers and have a building to do their maintenance work and stuff. And while that in itself is not the general idea of what I hope for the type of businesses we have out there, there are plenty of lots out there that I don't think that selling this set of lots to them for this purpose will hinder future growth otherwise out there that we may hope to get. Is everybody okay with consensus of kind of moving forward with the agreement that he has presented?
Yes.
Yes, I agree.
If that's the case, then staff will draw up something formal and we'll have the formal approval at the next meeting.
Great, thank you. Okay, well, let's move on to discussion item B, which is C2 downtown business to a D-M downtown mixed use zoning.
This is the last half of your agenda packet.
Yeah.
We just thought you needed some reading material for next
Year.
Well, I don't know how fast you guys read. I don't. But this is basically talking about, and thank you, Josh, for bringing that up, since you have the GIS. The area identified in pink is the downtown business district. It does have one little section to the north, a couple blocks, basically at 5th and Main, which is the dentist office and the other office that's there with it. That has also been classified as downtown business district, or C2. And then the rest of it is between 8th and basically 13th, I believe. 13th or 4th? 13th?
Right for the school.
Yeah. 14th. So includes the one block across the street from the school,
Yeah.
including S&T's building. What this ordinance does is basically just changes the name of the downtown district to DM, to downtown mixed use district. So and it is already included, some of that language is already included in the C2 downtown business. But during our discussions over the last 3 or 4 months, it was thought to actually name it mixed use might be more encouraging for some of those mixed use uses to come to the forefront. Well, in order to change the name, Zach can tell you how many different sections he had to write into the ordinance. 14 different sections of the city code. So that's why it is a very long ordinance, but it really, all it's doing at this point is changing the name. We're still going to have future discussions about parking and a little bit about the uses for the downtown mixed use. This is just changing the name. But it was a long enough ordinance by itself. We didn't want to muck it up by including anything else in it. So this is going to be presented to the Planning Commission for their consideration and also set for a public hearing at the Planning Commission. But if the City Commission has any comments or input for the Planning Commission to consider as they work through it, we just wanted to present it to you tonight.
You know, like I said, it's a very long ordinance, but like I said, all we're really doing here is just changing the name to put people in a better mindset for what the hope is for the use of the downtown area.
Looks good to me.
Zach, did you have anything else to add?
Nope.
14, just change the name. Isn't that crazy? Okay, so we're good with just sending this over the way it is?
Yes.
Okay. Let's move on to C then, adding ADUs to section 19-502.
19-502 is the use standards. So with the changes to the R1 and R2 with us allowing ADUs, this will give them a standard of what they have to follow.
Did I put it wrong as 19502 or 19202?
19202 is the definitions, which we will have to include in through the definitions ADU as well. That way it's clear as to what it is. For if somebody like Jake wants to go through the code and read the definition.
I don't know what it is.
That's right.
So again, the ordinance itself is not that, it's not that difficult a topic. It's more about adding a definition and inserting some information.
So what all, other than the actual definition of an ADU in here, what other changes, if any, did you make within the definitions?
None in the definitions, but within the use standards, it covers attached ADUs and detached ADUs. That way it kind of splits it up a little bit as to how the utility should be ran to it, that kind of thing. Parking. Be of similar design of the primary structure.
Do you have any questions on those? Comments, thoughts, ideas? Just send it over and keep it moving? Keep it going?
Both these ordinances will be considered by a special planning commission meeting a week from tomorrow on the 23rd. And they will then be asked if it's sufficient to set it for public hearing at least a month after that, because it needs 20 days from publication. It really becomes a month. So either in the end of May or beginning of June at their regular meeting in June. Then they'll hold a public hearing for it.
All right, sounds good. I do want to say that I do appreciate the planning commission and all the piles of work that we keep throwing at them here lately, and I hope.
And they were willing to have an extra meeting this month and probably an extra meeting next month to at least get this initial set of ordinances through. And then we will see where we go.
All right, great. Anybody else have anything they want to add for discussion items this evening? Let's move on to reports, starting with our city manager, Kent.
Your manager memo is included in the packet, as well as the month-end fund balance. and as well as the monthly police activity report. And we also included the quarterly municipal court summary. That's hard to say quickly. Quarterly municipal court
It's
summary.
hard to say slowly.
And then we also included a quarterly, hopefully, building permit summary. So we're adding a couple additional reports into that. So I'll ask Street Superintendent Kenton Keith to come up to give an update on the fuel tanks at the city shops.
Good evening.
Hello,
Hey.
how are you guys?
Good.
How are you?
As of right now, we went ahead and got the concrete poured in. Levi did make contact, well, state contacted Levi and they are going to, contract Milco to come out to do the testing. They don't have any dates on that, so, we did notice that we have a small leak in the union that, on the new pump that we did, so, most Houston is coming back out to tighten that up. But other than that, it's not, you can't even see, the bandage that they put over it is just seeping, it's not really dripping much, we have a drip pan under it, and it's not really catching anything, but, so, that's all I know right now, till Milco actually comes out to do it. Or, for now, the fuel system's back up and going, Thursday we'll have both sides open, so.
All right. Good deal. Thank you, Ken.
Thanks.
Last week, Dustin and I spoke through webinar, team meeting type thing, on a possible grant opportunity for the electric projects, whether that's the South Loop project, that was one of the main ones, or additional generation. And it seemed like a real opportunity. It's actually federal grants, but the preliminary application is through the state, through the Division of Emergency Management. So we'll have to complete a pre-application, and the Division of Emergency Management will then give their okay. That's your first cut. So if our play or movie script is good enough, then they'll say we can move forward and move on to the real application. So, Dustin, did you have any other comments regarding that possible? But it seemed like a real possibility we could at least get to a grant application. So, and if we do have some growth that occurs, the generation question and whether we have sufficient generation within our own facilities is something that this could be a real blessing for the community if we could have this come about. So, because the additional generation is not an inexpensive item.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think Dustin was mentioning it's almost, the shorthand for it is about $1 million per megawatt. So, if we would need 2 or 3 megawatts, that's gets to be some money.
Yeah.
So, so that seems like a real possibility. I did also have a meeting within the last couple weeks with the representative or the vice president of the Sherman County Child Care Coalition. We had some representatives come here a few months ago asking for specific requests of the city, but they didn't seem to have all the information that they needed to come forward. They have completed their paperwork and they've become they have a nonprofit as well as an LLC. So they've completed a bunch of the organizational paperwork that they need. And they will make a presentation at the next meeting of the city commission, the first meeting in May. And I think that will be well worth it to move this conversation forward. So it's a lot more organized at this point, and then I think it'll give the opportunity to come to some resolution about what their request was. So
Good deal. Good.
that'll be a good thing. The water tanks maintenance update, we had a presentation in the fall regarding the water tanks. We had put it on hold because water towers, same type of thing, water towers maintenance update. And we had put in a grant application at the turn of the year. They still have not announced the winners of that award, but they had, it is not likely that we have been selected because there was over $260 million worth of projects, and they only had like $12 million to hand out. So, have had conversations in the last couple of weeks with Neil and myself, and also with Rick Penner of Viking, and we're going to come back with a proposal just for this year to see if we can get the most immediate things included, because we do have money set aside for a certain amount of maintenance proposal.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the number of things that were involved it's a multi-year thing.
Yeah.
But we need to get going on something. So we're going to come back with a proposal just for a couple actions that we can take care of this year. If we happen to get announced, there seemed to be some information flowing through other channels that they hadn't told anybody that had been rejected. They had just told the people that had been approved. But even that's just secondhand information. That is not announced anywhere officially.
Yeah.
So hopefully at the next meeting we'll have the some sort of proposal just for this year. Try to take care of something.
Okay. Sounds good.
And I've also been asked to serve on the Kansas Municipal Utilities Board, Executive Board. They meet only 4 times a year, and a couple of those are at events they have that I may be at anyway, so it won't involve a whole lot of additional time away from this community. Just letting you know that I was asked to serve, and then let you guys know about that. That's all I have.
All right. Do we have any questions, comments for our city manager? I have one. Has there been any discussions yet regarding citywide cleanup? I've had a couple people in the last week or so hit me up about that.
Yes. And I did check with a number of department heads today to confirm that May 2nd and 3rd will work out for our crews, and we'll be publicizing that here this week.
Yeah. People are getting spring fever. They want
It's getting warm enough, everybody know, okay, when's spring cleanup? And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, 2nd, 3rd, good. Anything else? All right, thank you, Kent. Move on to commissioner reports. Start here on my right with Commissioner Myers,
Nothing at this time.
Commissioner Howard,
Nothing at this time.
Commissioner Redlin.
I also have nothing.
Okay, and for my mayor's report, I also have nothing more to add. Okay, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A motion by Commissioner Redlin,
Second.
second by Commissioner Myers. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everybody.